In sports leagues, promotion and relegation is a process where teams are transferred between two divisions based on their performance for the completed season. The best-ranked teams in the lower division are promoted to the division above, and the worst-ranked teams in the higher division are relegated to the division below. In some leagues, playoffs or qualifying rounds are also used to determine rankings. This process can continue through several levels, with teams being exchanged between levels 1 and 2, levels 2 and 3, levels 3 and 4, and so on. During the season, teams that are high enough in the table that they would qualify for promotion are sometimes said to be in the promotion zone, and those at the bottom are in the relegation zone. The number of teams exchanged between the divisions is normally identical. Exceptions occur when the higher division wishes to change the size of its membership, or has lost one or more of its clubs and wishes to restore its previous membership size, in which case fewer teams may be relegated from that division, or more accepted for promotion from the division below. Such variations will almost inevitably cause a knock-on effect through the lower divisions. For example, in 1995 the Premier League voted to reduce its numbers by 2 and achieved the desired change by relegating 4 teams instead of the usual 3, whilst allowing only 2 promotions from Football League Division 1. The system is said to be the defining characteristic of the European form of professional sports league organisation. Promotion and relegation have the effect of allowing the maintenance of a hierarchy of leagues and divisions, according to the relative strength of their teams. They also maintain the importance of games played by many low-ranked teams near the end of the season, which may be at risk of relegation. In contrast, a low-ranked US or Canadian team's final games serve little purpose, and in fact losing may be beneficial to such teams, yielding a better position in the next year's draft. Although not intrinsic to the system, problems can occur due to the differing monetary payouts and revenue-generating potential that different divisions provide to their clubs. For example, financial hardship has sometimes occurred in leagues where clubs do not reduce their wage bill once relegated. This usually occurs for one of 2 reasons: first, the club can't move underperforming players on, or second, the club is gambling on being promoted back straight away and is prepared to take a financial loss for 1 or 2 seasons to do so. Some leagues offer parachute payments to its relegated teams for the following year. The payouts are higher than the prize money received by some non-relegated teams and are designed to soften the financial hit that clubs take whilst dropping out of the Premier League. However, in many cases these parachute payments just serve to inflate the costs of competing for promotion among the lower division clubs. In some countries and at certain levels, teams in line for promotion may have to satisfy certain non-playing conditions in order to be accepted by the higher league, such as financial solvency, stadium capacity, and facilities. If these are not satisfied, a lower-ranked team may be promoted in their place, or a team in the league above may be saved from relegation. In sports such as bandy, ice hockey and floorball, the concept of promotion and relegation is used also for the World Championships, as well as the Athletics European Cup. An alternate system of league organization which is used in the US, Canada and Australia is a closed model which always has the same teams playing, with occasional admission of expansion teams. Structure, English example, for example, here are the promotion and relegation rules for the top few levels of the English Football League system: Premier League, bottom 3 teams relegated. Football League Championship, top 2 automatically promoted. Next 4 compete in the playoffs, with the winner gaining the 3rd promotion spot. Bottom 3 relegated. Football League 1, top 2 automatically promoted. Next 4 compete in playoffs, with the winner gaining the 3rd promotion spot. Bottom 4 relegated. Football League 2, top 3 automatically promoted. Next 4 compete in playoffs, with the winner gaining the 4th promotion spot. Bottom 2 relegated. Conference Premier, top team promoted. Next 4 compete in playoffs, with the winner gaining the 2nd promotion spot. Bottom 4 relegated, to either North or South Division as appropriate. Conference North and Conference South, top team in each division automatically promoted. Next 4 teams in each compete in playoffs, with playoff winner in each division getting the second promotion spot. Bottom 3 in each division relegated, to either Northern Premier League, Southern League, or Isthmian League as appropriate. If, after promotion and relegation, the number of teams in the North and South divisions are not equal, one or more teams are transferred between the two divisions to even them up again. Other leagues structure. The current promotion and relegation rules for the top two divisions of other major leagues are: Argentine Primera División Cube N, starting in the 2012/2013 season, relegates the three teams with the lowest average points per match over a 3-year period, or since their latest arrival into the Primera División Cube N, for those teams that are in their first or second consecutive season in the division. The three top teams in the Nacional B table will be promoted. Up until the previous season, it relegated the two teams with the lowest average points per match over a 3-year period, and teams placed 17th and 18th in the average points per match table played off against the 3rd and 4th placed sides of that season's Nacional B table. The first and second placed teams in the Nacional B were directly promoted to Primera División Cube N, without a playoff. Brazilian Campeonato Brasileiro ZA Copyright RIA relegates 4 teams with lowest score to Campeonato Brasileiro ZA Copyright RIA B and promotes the first 4 from it. French Ligue 1 and Greek Super League all relegate the bottom 3 teams, with the top 3 teams from the second division C Euro respectively the Ligue 2, and the Football League UE Euro automatically promoted. German Bundesliga, from 2008 to Euro 09, bottom 2 teams automatically relegated, top 2 teams from the second Bundesliga automatically promoted. Third team from bottom of the first Bundesliga plays a 2-legged playoff with the third-place team of the second Bundesliga, with the winner playing in the first Bundesliga. This is a return to a previous system of promotion and relegation in Germany. In recent years, the system used in France and Greece had been employed. It is also being adopted in Vietnam, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Japan was using this system until 2011. Italian Serie A, bottom 3 teams relegated. Top 2 teams from Serie B automatically promoted. If the difference between 3rd and 4th place is less than 10 points, the next 4 teams play off, with the winner gaining the 3rd promotion spot. Otherwise the 3rd-placed team is promoted. Until recently, the Italians had used the Brazilian process. Portuguese Primeira Liga, bottom 2 teams relegated. Top 2 teams from the second division, Liga de Honra, are automatically promoted. Romanian Liga I, bottom 4 teams relegated. Top 2 teams from each of 2 divisions of Liga 2 automatically promoted. Russian Football Premier League, from the 2012-13 season the bottom 2 teams are relegated and the 2 top teams from the National Football League are promoted. The 4th to last and the 3rd to last teams of the Premier League play with the 3rd and 4th team of the National League respectively in 2-legged playoffs. The 2010 season was the last season when the old format was used, identical to mentioned above Portuguese Primeira Liga. Dutch Eredivisie, bottom team automatically relegated. Top team in Eredivisie automatically promoted. The next 2 lowest Eredivisie teams enter a relatively complex playoff system with the 8 best remaining teams from the Eredivisie. The 2 winners are promoted to or remain in the Premier Division. Scottish Professional Football League, the last-placed team of the Scottish Premiership is relegated and the top team in the Scottish Championship automatically promoted if its playing ground meets Premiership standards. Otherwise, the bottom team will remain in the Premiership. The second from last-placed team enters a playoff against the winners of the Championship playoff between the teams finishing in 2nd to 4th places. From 2014 to Euro 15, the bottom team in the SPFL enters a playoff with a team nominated by the Scottish Football Association from the regional leagues. Turkish ZA 1/4 League, Spanish La Liga and Japanese J-League Division 1, bottom 3 teams relegated. Top 2 teams from the second divisions, respectively 1. Leg, Segunda División Cube N and J-League Division 2 automatically promoted, next 4 teams each compete in playoff, with playoff winner in this league getting the 3rd promotion spot since the 2005 to 2006 season in Turkey, 2010 to 2011 in Spain and the 2012 season in Japan. Other relegation schemes consider points acquired over more than one season. For instance, in the Argentine First Division, the points average of the last 3 seasons is computed, and the 2 teams with the lowest averages are directly relegated. The 3rd and 4th from the bottom play home and away matches against the 3rd and 4th from the top of the 2nd Division respectively, and the winner of each key stays in, or moves to, First Division. Thus, the number of teams promoted each year varies between 2 and 4. Newly promoted teams only average the seasons since their last promotion. Liga MX relegates one team each year with a system like Argentinian process. It relegates the team with the lowest average points per match over a 3-year period. The winner of the promotion playoff between the champions of Apertura and Clausura tournaments of Ascenso MX, respectively, is promoted. Uzbekistan Professional Football League, the bottom 2 teams in the Uzbek League are automatically relegated to the Uzbekistan 1 division, and placed in the divided groups depending on the geographical coordination. After all the teams in the Uzbekistan First Division have played the maximum number of times, then the 8 top teams gets a spot in the next round. At the next round, the 8 teams from the East and the West make one group, in which the teams from the same division do not play against each other. At the end of the season, the top 2 teams are promoted to the Uzbekistan Professional Football League. The teams ranked 9th through 12th make another group, in which the teams from the same division do not play against each other. At the end of the season, the bottom 2 teams are relegated. While the purpose of the promotion-relegation system is to maintain competitive balance, it may also be used as a disciplinary tool in special cases. On several occasions, the Italian Football Federation has relegated clubs found to have been involved in match fixing. This occurred most recently in 2006, when the season's initial champions Juventus were relegated to Serie B, and 2 other teams were initially relegated but then restored to Serie A after appeal. In some communist nations, particularly several in Europe after World War II, clubs were promoted and relegated for political reasons rather than performance. Clubs in East Germany, Romania, and Yugoslavia were given top-flight placements by the communist authorities from their beginnings, and often held on to their places with these authorities backing. Avoiding relegation. A small number of clubs have gone several decades without being relegated. Arsenal of England, for instance, has only been relegated once in their entire history at the end of the 1912 Euro 13 season, and have been in the top flight continuously since 1919, a Euro by far the longest such run in English football. Not far behind Arsenal is Standard Liège of Belgium, which has also been relegated only once in its history and has maintained continuous top-flight status since 1921. English Northern Premier League Premier Division side Blythe Spartans had never been relegated in 113 years of existence until the end of the 2011 to 2012 season, when they were relegated from the Conference North, although changing lower league structures have played a role in this. Gainsborough Trinity claim to have never been relegated, having lost their league place due to a system of re-election rather than relegation. Even fewer clubs have managed to avoid relegation entirely throughout their existence. Austria Wien and Rapid Wien have never been relegated since 1911. England, since the formation of the Football League in 1888, every club which has played in the top flight has at least one relegation to their credit. Since the 1992 formation of the Premier League as the new top division in England, the following have never been relegated from the Premier League: Arsenal FC, in top division continuously since 1919. Everton FC, the next longest-serving top-flight members: Liverpool FC, Manchester United FC, Tottenham Hotspur FC, Aston Villa FC, Chelsea FC, Stoke City FC, Swansea City AFC. Of these, only Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea have won the Premier League. Blackburn Rovers FC and Manchester City FC have also won the Premier League but suffered relegations from the Premier League in 2011 and 2003 respectively. France, Paris Saint-Germain, PSG was founded in 1970 when Paris FC merged with Stade Saint-Germain, playing in Division 1. In 1972, Under political pressure from the Paris City Council, the club split into professional and amateur sides. The professional team remained in the top flight as Paris FC, and the amateur side inherited the Paris Saint-Germain name but was forced into the third-tier Championnat National. PSG returned to the top flight after 2 consecutive promotions. Germany, Hamburger SV. The only German club have always been in Bundesliga since 1963, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, Wolfsburg, 1899 Hoffenheim, FC Augsburg, Greece, Olympiakos, Panathinaikos, PAOK Thessaloniki, Skoda Xanthi, Asteras Tripoli, Platanias. The first 3 of these clubs were founding members of Alpha Ethniki, formed in 1959 and the predecessor to today's Super League Greece. Xanthi were promoted to Alpha Ethniki for the first time in 1989, Asteras Tripolis in 2007 and Platanias in 2013, Republic of Ireland, Bohemian FC. St. Patrick's Athletic FC, Indonesia, Persija Jakarta, Israel, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Italy, Internazionale, the Netherlands, Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV, FC Utrecht, Ajax, Feyenoord, and PSV have been members of the Eredivisie since its formation in 1956. FC Utrecht was founded in 1970 as a merger of 3 clubs, of which DOS was also a charter member of the Eredivisie that had never been relegated. Norway, Lillestrøm Sportsklubb have not been relegated since 1967. They are the club with the most consecutive seasons in the Norwegian top division. Poland, Legia Warsaw is a club with the most consecutive seasons in Polish Ekstraklasa. They have not been relegated since reactivation of Ekstraklasa after war in 1948. Portugal, Benfica, FC Porto, Sporting, Arouca. The first 3 teams above comprise the Big 3 of Portuguese football. They have won all Portuguese league championships contested since 1934-35, with the exception of 1945-46 and 2000-01, who have been relegated. Romania, Dinamo Bucharest unregistered trademark T, Steaua Bucharest unregistered trademark T. These clubs were put directly in the Romanian top flight by the communist authorities after it was reactivated following World War II, and have never been relegated. Before the communist period, Venus Bucureti had never been relegated, but was forced to relinquish their league place for political reasons and ultimately folded. A new version of Venus was formed following the fall of communism and competes in the Bucharest amateur levels. Sportul Studena Poundesc, the only club to compete in the top flight before, during, and after communism, has been periodically promoted and relegated from the top flight on its performance. Russia, FC Dynamo Moscow have never been relegated, neither from the Soviet top league since its formation in 1936, nor from its successor, the Russian Premier League. FC Spartak Moscow have never been relegated from the Russian Premier League. It was relegated from the Soviet top league only once in 1976. PFC CSKA Moscow, no relegations from the Russian Premier League. 2 relegations from the Soviet top league. FC Lokomotiv Moscow, FC Krylya Sovetov Samara, Lokomotiv and Krylya Sovetov have never been relegated from the Russian Premier League, but were often relegated during the Soviet era. Scotland, Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers. Celtic was amongst the clubs that founded the original Scottish Football League in 1890. Aberdeen was promoted to the top flight in 1905, only 1 season after joining SFL's Division 2, and have finished bottom place on 2 occasions, 1917 and 2000. Rangers was also amongst the clubs that founded the SFL in 1890 and played continuously in the top flight until 2012, when the company that operated Rangers was liquidated. A new company acquired the business and assets of Rangers and was admitted to the 3rd Division. Some sources inaccurately describe this movement as relegation. Spain, FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, Athletic Bilbao, Getafe compare. The first 3 of these clubs were founding members of La Liga in 1929, and rank 1st, 2nd, and 4th in the number of league championships won. Neither Barcelona nor Real Madrid have finished outside La Liga's top 10 since Real Madrid's 11th place campaign in 1948. Barcelona's last season outside the top 10 was a 12th place finish in 1942. Athletic Bilbao's most recent brush with relegation came in 2006 July, when their survival was not assured until the penultimate week of the season. Getafe have been in La Liga since their first appearance in 2004 a Euro 05, but were often relegated and promoted in lower divisions. Turkey, Beşiktaş, Fenerbahçe Section E, Galatasaray, Trabzonspor, Sivasspor. The first four of these clubs were founding members of Milli Lig, formed in 1959 and the predecessor to today's ZA 1 Quarter Lig. Sivasspor were promoted to ZA 1 Quarter Lig for the first time in 2005. Ukraine, FC Dynamo Kyiv was never relegated in either the Soviet top league under Soviet Union dominion and later in the Ukrainian Premier League in an independent Ukraine. FC Shakhtar Donetsk, last promoted to the STL in 1972, never relegated from UPL. FC Dniprodnepropetrovsk, last promoted to the STL in 1980, never relegated from UPL. SC Tevria Simferopol, de facto promoted from folding Soviet First League in 1991, was also never relegated from the UPL. However, as a result of the annexation of Crimea by Russia, the club ceased to exist. South America, Argentina, Boca Juniors, promoted to amateur First Division in 1913, co-founded Professional League in 1931, Arsenal de Saranda, promoted to Professional First Division in 2002. Bolivia, Orient Petrolero, the strongest, Brazil, Cruzeiro, Flamengo, Internacional, Santos, Sao Paulo, Chile, Colo-Colo, Colombia, Independiente Medellin, Atlético Nacional, Deportivo Cali, Junior, Millonarios, Santa Fe, Ecuador, Barcelona. Note, while Barcelona has never been relegated to the Serie B, they have not played every season of the Serie A in 1967. A system of promotion-relegation was initiated with the creation of the Segunda Categoria. Prior to that season, teams qualified to the Serie A through their performance in one of two regional leagues. The 1964 season was the only time Barcelona did not participate in the national tournament because teams from Guayas, Barcelona's regional league, declined to participate. Paraguay, Guarani Cerro Porte +or-0. Olimpia, Peru, Universitario de Deportes, has been on First Division since their first appearance in 1928. Sporting Cristal, bought a First Division team Sporting Tarbaco in 1956, and has been since then on the top flight. Club Deportivo Universidad de San Martín de Porres, bought the category in 2004. Sport Hernández, since 2009, Intigas Deportes, since 2009, Unicube del Comercio, since 2011 Real Garcilaso, since 2012, Uruguay, Nacional, P+or-a. North America, North American League Championship Series. The League of Legends Professional Gaming League features relegation at the end of every spring and summer split. Mexico, Guadalajara, Toluca, Arma Copyright Rica, UNAM, Cruz Azul, Club Tijuana, Asia, China, Beijing Guoan, Shandong Luneng, Shanghai Shenhua. Since China's Super League became a professional league in 1994, only the teams above have been playing in every season in the said league. Japan, the following clubs have never been relegated from J-League Division 1 since its formation in 1993, Yokohama F. Marinos, Nagoya Grampus, Kashima Antlers, Shimizu Pulse. Albirex Niigata, Omiya Adaja, Sagan Tosu. Since the formation of the original Japan Soccer League in 1965, the only clubs that have never been relegated from the top flight are Shimizu, Niigata, Omiya and Tosu. The longest stint in the top flight was held by JF United Ichihara Chiba, co-founder of both the JSL and J-League, and relegated to J-League Division 2 in 2009 after 44 seasons of top-flight football. Uzbekistan, Bunyodkor, FC Pakhtaka Tashkent, Navbehar Namangan, Naftchi Fargana. Note, These teams have never been relegated to lower divisions. They were the teams playing the first season of the Uzbekistan Professional Football League. Bunyodkor, the exception, was promoted from the Provincial League to the Uzbekistan First League, and then to the Uzbekistan Professional Football League. Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal, Ittihad FC, Al Ahly SC, Al Nassr, Africa, Uganda, Kampala City Council KCC, Villa FC, Express SC, Egypt, Al Ahly, El Zamalek, Zimbabwe, Dynamos FC, in top division continuously since 1956. Non-relegation systems. In the United States, Canada and Australia, teams are not promoted or relegated. Recently, the North American Soccer League, and the United Soccer Leagues of the United States, having teams from across the United States, and some teams from Canada, Puerto Rico, Bermuda and Antigua and Barbuda, discussed a relegation system. The USL set up two leagues, the PRO and the Poundal. Although the system is now in place, it is not compulsory and is rarely used. Occasionally teams voluntarily relegate themselves for financial reasons, while the league promotes ambitious second-division teams. There is no relegation from Major League Soccer. The league cites the main reason is the nature of the franchise system. The owner has purchased the right to operate a major league team in a specific city, and relegation would in effect be a breach of that contract by the league. MLS has also had a steady pattern of expansion, much of which comes from promoted lower-level teams, negating the need for relegation. In the United States, colleges, most notably the extensive and lucrative NCAA programs, act as the primary suppliers of players to two of the major professional team sports, American football and basketball. Baseball drafts players out of either college or high school, while the majority of most teenage hockey players on Canadian junior teams are drafted out of Major Junior, a semi-pro youth club system, with a growing number of players in the United States coming out of the NCAA's American collegiate programs, such as Hockey East. Although the NCAA is divided into three separate divisions and teams can voluntarily move up or down between the three, membership in a division is determined, among other things, by the number of athletic scholarships a school offers. In men's ice hockey, the NCAA only conducts championships in Divisions I and III. Schools that are Division II members are allowed to play as Division I in that sport, with the same scholarship limits as full-time Division I schools. American Canadian baseball and hockey do have lower-level professional leagues, referred to as minor leagues. Most of these teams affiliate with a major league team in player development contracts. Likewise, the National Basketball Association has recently begun operating its own developmental league. The minor league system can be viewed as an informal relegation system based on individual players rather than teams. Players remain employees of the parent organization and are assigned to the minor league level appropriate to their skill and development. Skillful players are often promoted, or called up, to the parent major league team, while underperforming players or players recovering from a major injury are sent down to an affiliated minor league team. Transfers of players between various levels of minor leagues are also common. Such promotions and demotions, however, are not mandatory but are made at management's discretion, and may be made at any time during a season. There is one documented case of a modified promotion and relegation system in hockey, pertaining to the dissolution of the World Hockey Association. As part of the NHLA-Euro-WHA merger, the top four WHA teams were promoted to the NHL, while the bottom two were relegated to the Central Hockey League, paid cash, and got to keep more of their players. No gridiron football leagues in North America use the promotion and relegation system. Though teams in the indoor football leagues often jump from league to league on an annual basis, most of the indoor leagues are considered roughly on par with each other, and as such are not being promoted or relegated at all. The Iowa Barnstormers and Albany Firebirds, at least in name, were relegated from the top-level Arena Football League down to its minor league, AF2, but the AFL and AF2 incarnations of each team were not the same legal entities. The only thing each team had in common with its counterpart was its market location and trademarks. Iowa would later be brought back up to the top level in 2010 as part of a bankruptcy reorganization. In 2006, the American Indoor Football League hastily and temporarily promoted 3 amateur teams to the professional ranks to fill holes in the schedule. Similarly, the 2009 New Jersey Revolution professional indoor football team left the Continental Indoor Football League and played an abbreviated 3-game schedule, all against semi-pro teams, which were presumably paid for their appearances. In both cases, their promotion was a matter of proximity and convenience, and as such had nothing to do with the team's finances or performance on the field. In all 7 of the games that involved a semi-pro team and an indoor professional team, the professional team won decisively, with many of the games being shutouts. These are the only known cases of an amateur team moving to the professional ranks since the formation of professional football in the early part of the 20th century. Australia Euro unregistered trademark SA League does not use a promotion and relegation system. As the league is still relatively young, steady expansion of the competition is the current priority. The A-League shares franchising elements similar to other ball codes within Australia, as well as the Major League Soccer, and other major American-based sports leagues. The governing body, Football Federation Australia, are currently taking steps to expand the A-League, although some have questioned the logic, with many clubs struggling to stay afloat financially. Current expansion of the A-League includes the reintroduction of Northern Fury FC by 2018, and the possibility of new teams from the areas including Canberra, Darwin, Townsville, Geelong, Sunshine Coast, Tasmania, Wollongong, Ipswich, and also Auckland. Other Asian regions including Singapore are also being considered. A national knockout cup competition titled the FFA Cup and in the style of the FA Cup will commence in 2014, subject to finalisation of commercial arrangements. The plan for the FFA Cup includes amateur and semi-professional clubs, including national Premier Leagues, and A-League clubs entering the draw on a progressive basis. The options allow for existing state and territory-based cup competitions to remain in place as feeder competitions to the National Cup. Although not yet confirmed, in future, the winner of the FFA Cup would have the possibility of being promoted to the A-League competition if the winning team was not already in the competition. Outside of the top flight, promotion and relegation are very common in local and amateur levels of soccer throughout Australia. In Japan, the J-League uses a promotion and relegation system. But professional baseball does not, perhaps owing to American influence. Professional American football, despite being an American sport, uses a promotion and relegation system in Japan as well as Euro, which the now defunct NFL Europa did not have. Similar differences between soccer and baseball have become established in other East Asian countries where both games are played professionally, namely South Korea, China, and Taiwan. Professional sumo wrestling, which is not a team sport at all, has promotion and relegation between ranks of individual wrestlers. A yokozuna, or grand champion, however, can never be relegated once he has achieved the distinction. He is instead expected to retire when he is no longer competitive at the top level. The Super League, a rugby league organisation that operates in the United Kingdom with one team in France, abandoned a promotion and relegation system in favour of a licence system. While teams can still be promoted and relegated, their moves are not based solely on performance and are no longer automatic. Instead, the league issues a number of licenses based on a combination of performance and financial ability to compete at a top level. The licenses are issued for 3 years. Historical comparisons: early baseball leagues in the United States. In baseball, the earliest American sport to develop professional leagues, the National Association of Baseball Players was established in 1857 as a national governing body for the game. In many respects, it would resemble England's Football Association when founded in 1863. Both espoused strict amateurism in their early years and welcomed hundreds of clubs as members. Baseball's National Association was not able to survive the onset of professionalism. It responded to the trend of Euro clubs secretly paying or indirectly compensating players a euro by establishing a professional class for 1869. As quickly as 1871, most of those clubs broke away and formed the National Association of Professional Baseball Players. That new, professional association was open at a modest fee, but it proved to be unstable. It was replaced by the National League of Professional Baseball Clubs in 1876, which has endured to the present day. The founders of the new league judged that in order to prosper, they must make baseball's highest level of competition a closed shop, with a strict limit on the number of teams, each member having exclusive local rights. The modest National League guarantee of a place in the league year after year would permit the owners to monopolize fan bases in their exclusive territories and give them the confidence to invest in infrastructure, such as improved ballparks. In turn, those would guarantee the revenues to support traveling halfway across a continent for games. Indeed, after its first season, the new league banked on its still doubtful stability by expelling its members in New York and Philadelphia, because they had breached agreements to visit the four Western clubs at the end of the season. The NL's dominance of baseball was challenged several times but only by entire leagues, after its first few years. 8 clubs, the established norm for a national league, was a prohibitively high threshold for a new venture. 2 challenges succeeded beyond the short term, with the National League fighting off a challenge from the American Association after a decade. In 1903 it accepted parity with the American League and the formation of the organization that would become Major League Baseball. The peace agreement between the NL and the AL did not change the closed shop of top-level baseball but entrenched it by including the AL in the shop. This was further confirmed by the Supreme Court's 1922 ruling in Federal Baseball Club v. National League, giving MLB a legal monopoly over professional baseball in the U.S. Early football leagues in England, in contrast to baseball's NABBP, the first governing body in English football, survived the onset of professionalism, which it formally accepted in 1885. Perhaps the great geographical concentration of population and the corresponding short distances between urban centres was crucial. Certainly it provided the opportunity for more clubs developing large fan bases without incurring great travel costs. Professional football did not gain acceptance until after the turn of the 20th century in most of southern England. The earliest league members travelled only through the Midlands and North. When the Football League was founded in 1888, it was not intended to be a rival of the Football Association but rather the top competition within it. The new league was not universally accepted as England's top-caliber competition right away. To help win fans of clubs outside the Football League, its circuit was not closed. Rather, a system was established in which the worst teams at the end of each season would need to win re-election against any clubs wishing to join. A rival league, the Football Alliance, was formed in 1889. When the two merged in 1892, it was not on equal terms. Rather, most of the Alliance clubs were put in the new Football League's second division, whose best teams would move up to the first division in place of its worst teams. Another merger, with the top division of the Southern League in 1920, helped form the third division in similar fashion. Since then no new league has been formed of non-league clubs to try to achieve parity with the Football League. For decades, teams finishing near the bottom of the Football League's lowest division, S, faced re-election rather than automatic relegation. But the principle of promotion and relegation had been firmly established, and it eventually expanded to the football pyramid in place today. Meanwhile, the FA has remained English football's overall governing body, retaining amateur and professional clubs rather than breaking up. Use outside of sports, in the World Cyber Games realm, Blizzard Entertainment's video game StarCraft II, Wings of Liberty uses a 7-level promotion and relegation system for its tournament structure. Individual players and pre-made teams can be promoted and relegated during the first few weeks of a league season, which generally lasts around 11 weeks, with promotion and relegation taking place based on a hidden skill rating, which is in turn based on wins and losses. From 1993 until 2003, the Eurovision Song Contest used various systems of relegation to reconcile the number of countries wishing to participate with the number of performances allowed considering time constraints of a live television program. The addition of a semi-final in 2004 allowed for more than 26 songs, but it wasn't until 2007 that automatic qualification of the previous year's top 10 to the final was removed. See also, List of unrelegated association football clubs, notes and references. External links, Rec Sport Soccer Statistics Foundation source for historical information on promoted and relegated soccer teams.